Does your dog bark at every little sound, passing car or leaf blowing in the wind? If you're nodding yes, you're not alone. Excessive barking can be frustrating, but the good news is, you can stop it with the right approach. In today's video, we'll break down why your dog might be barking so much and how to manage it effectively. Let's dive in. Dogs don't bark for no reason. They bark because they're trying to tell us something. It's their way of communicating, but sometimes they get carried away with their emotions. Think of it like this. Your dog is like a furry teenager who hasn't quite mastered the art of expressing themselves calmly. So, they resort to what they know best: barking. Before we can stop the barking, we need to understand what's triggering it. Is it a visitor at the door, a squirrel running across the lawn, or maybe your dog is just bored? Once we understand the why behind the bark, we can start addressing it. Dogs thrive on routine and leadership. When they're unsure of their place in the pack, they bark to try and regain some control. It's like they're saying, "Hey, pay attention to me, I'm in charge here." But here's the thing. You are the pack leader. It's your job to create a calm and assertive energy that your dog can feed off of. Now let's talk about some common types of barking. First, we have the classic alarm bark. This is your dog's way of saying, "Hey, someone's here," or "something's not right." Then there's the attention-seeking bark. This is the bark that says, "Hey, play with me, pet me, give me attention." Dogs are social animals and they crave our attention, but incessant barking for attention can be annoying, and of course we can't forget about boredom barking. This is the bark of a dog who has too much energy and not enough to do. Finally, we have fear or anxiety barking. This type of barking is often high-pitched and frantic. It's your dog's way of saying, "I'm scared." They might be afraid of loud noises, strangers, or even other dogs. It's important to remember that fear is a powerful emotion and it can be difficult for dogs to control their barking when they're feeling anxious. So, how do we decipher these barks and respond accordingly? It all comes down to observation and understanding your dog's body language. By paying attention to the context and their body language, you can start to understand what your dog is trying to communicate. Now that we understand why dogs bark, let's talk about how to teach them to stop barking when we need some peace and quiet. Teaching your dog the quiet command will change your life. The key here is to be consistent and patient. It takes time and repetition for your dog to understand what you want from them. First things first, we need to catch them in the act. Wait for your dog to start barking. As soon as your dog starts barking, calmly and firmly say, "Quiet." Don't shout or get angry. We want to project an energy of calm assertiveness. While you're saying quiet, hold out a treat in front of your dog's nose. The goal here is to distract them from whatever is making them bark and get them to focus on you. Dogs want to please us and they love treats. The moment your dog stops barking, even for a split second, give them the treat and praise them like they just won an Olympic gold medal. Good quiet, yes, good quiet. Repeat this process over and over again. Consistency is key. Every time your dog starts barking, say "quiet" and hold out the treat. The more you practice, the faster your dog will learn to associate the word quiet with stopping their bark. Remember, patience is your best friend here. Some dogs will catch on quickly while others might take a little longer. But don't give up. With patience and persistence, you can teach your dog to be quiet on command. The effort is well worth it. Soon, you'll have a quieter, more peaceful home. Now let's talk about managing your dog's environment to minimize barking triggers. If you know your dog barks every time the doorbell rings, you can either train them to stay calm or prevent them from seeing the visitors in the first place. If your dog is constantly barking at passersby outside the window, try closing the curtains or blinds. Out of sight, out of mind, right? If your dog tends to bark at noises coming from the street, try creating a more peaceful environment inside your home. White noise machines or calming music can work wonders in masking those external sounds that trigger your dog's barking. If your dog is crate trained, consider moving their crate to a quieter area of the house. Maybe a corner of the bedroom or a hallway away from the hustle and bustle of the main living areas. Another thing to consider is your dog's daily routine. Are they getting enough exercise? A tired dog is a well-behaved dog. Make sure your dog is getting plenty of physical activity every day. A long walk, a run in the park, or even just a good game of fetch in the backyard can make a world of difference. Mental stimulation is just as important as physical exercise. A bored dog is more likely to bark out of frustration or boredom. Provide your dog with plenty of interactive toys and puzzles to keep their minds engaged. You can even try hiding treats around the house for them to find. And remember, socialization is key. A well-socialized dog is less likely to bark at strangers or other dogs. Now, let's talk about energy. Dogs are natural athletes built to run, play, and explore. When we don't provide them with enough outlets for their energy, that energy has to go somewhere, right? And often it comes out as excessive barking. Think of it like this. Imagine a pot of water boiling on the stove. If you don't turn down the heat or remove the pot from the burner, the water will boil over and make a mess. Your dog's energy is like that boiling water. If you don't give it a proper outlet, it's going to spill over in the form of unwanted behaviors like barking. The good news is, we can channel that energy into positive activities that will tire your dog out both physically and mentally. And trust me, a tired dog is a quiet dog. First and foremost, daily walks are non-negotiable. Not only are walks essential for your dog's physical health, but they also provide mental stimulation and an opportunity for them to explore their surroundings. Aim for at least one good, long walk every day. Now, walks are great, but we also need to incorporate some more intense exercise into our dog's routines. This could be a run in the park, a game of fetch in the backyard, or even a swim in the lake. The key is to get their heart rate up and let them burn off some steam. But physical exercise is only half the battle. We also need to provide our dogs with mental stimulation. Just like us, dogs need to use their brains to stay sharp and engaged, and a mentally stimulated dog is less likely to bark out of boredom. There are tons of great ways to provide mental enrichment for your dog. Food puzzles are a fantastic option. Instead of just pouring their kibble into a bowl, make them work for it. There are all sorts of interactive feeders and puzzle toys available that will challenge your dog to think and problem solve in order to get their food. Training sessions are another great way to exercise your dog's mind. Teaching your dog new commands and tricks not only strengthens your bond, but it also helps to keep their minds sharp. Now, let's talk about what not to do when your dog is barking. It's tempting to yell, "Stop barking!" or "Be quiet!" But here's the thing. To a dog, any kind of attention, even negative attention, can be rewarding. Think about it. Your dog barks, you yell at them, and they stop barking. From your dog's perspective, they just successfully got your attention. They might not understand that you were yelling because you were annoyed. All they know is that their barking elicited a response from you. So what can we do instead? We ignore the drama. Completely and utterly ignore it. When your dog starts barking, don't look at them, don't talk to them, and don't even make eye contact. Pretend they don't even exist. I know it can be tough, especially when they're barking up a storm, but trust me, the key is to be consistent. Every time you give in and acknowledge their barking, you're reinforcing the behavior. You're teaching them that barking is an effective way to get your attention. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore your dog completely. We still want to reward good behavior. So as soon as your dog stops barking, even for a split second, that's when you shower them with praise and attention. Good quiet! You're such a good dog! The key is to make it clear that barking gets them nothing, but silence gets them everything they want. Your attention, your praise, and maybe even a treat. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but what about when my dog is barking at the door and I'm expecting guests? In those situations, you can redirect their attention to something else. Keep a basket of toys near the door, and when your guests arrive, calmly and quietly redirect your dog's attention to the toys. Go get your toy. Look, a bone. The key is to stay calm and assertive. Your dog will pick up on your energy. Remember, consistency is key. It's going to take time and patience to break the barking cycle. But with persistence, you can teach your dog that barking is not the way to get what they want. Stay patient and consistent, and you'll see progress. Soon your dog will understand that silence is golden. Remember, change won't happen overnight, but with consistency and patience, you'll see progress. Your dog isn't barking to annoy you, it's their way of expressing something. By understanding and addressing the cause, you'll build a stronger bond with your furry friend. If you found these tips helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more dog training advice. Let me know in the comments, what's the funniest or most unexpected thing your dog has ever barked at? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.